Chapter 421. Her reputation was terribly tarnished. In the new year, the other two blossoming newcomers were still in the ranks. However, Lin Che and Qin Wanwan were admitted into the top 10 and could participate in the awards night. They could compete for the top 3 positions. Once Qin Wanwan entered, everyone said that Qin Wanwan was really capable. She was so pretty and had so many fans. She was such a nice person and had a great affinity with people. Once Qin Wanwan entered, she saw a few teachers whom she had worked with before and immediately went to greet them. The teachers chatted with her. The other students could only watch and envy. After that, in the restroom, Qin Wanwan's manager looked at Qin Wanwan. Lin Che is done for this time. She previously had a higher rank than you. It's too bad that she has already fallen out of the top 10 now. I'm afraid that she won't be able to catch up to you. Qin Wanwan washed her hands. It's best if you can guarantee it. Will I definitely be in the top 3 and get the grand award? Basically, yes. I'm trying to force her out of the nominations. Otherwise, we'll continue demanding an apology from her. Her reputation is completely tarnished and she can't compete with you. I told you that I would definitely be able to help you become the top dog if you join our company. Just relax. Qin Wanwan smiled victoriously. She looked at her own face in the mirror, looking as if she was crushing Lin Che under her feet right now. Sister Lin said, relax and wait for your award this year. Lin Che asked for a day off from the teachers. She wanted to personally submit the documents for the gold medal award. Yu Minmin and Lin Che reached the gold medal awards jury. Seeing that Lin Che was still looking at her Weibo, Yu Minmin said, you better not look at it anymore. Lin Che leaned against her seat and said lethargically, no, I need to torture myself or I can't take it. These people are really, how can they believe that I would have the capability to give Qin Wanwan some disfiguring drug? If I was really so capable, I would have simply used a lethal drug and killed her off. Why would I go through the hassle of disfiguring her? That's enough. The fans and audience will only believe what they want to believe. They don't care if it's true or not. Those fans who believe you right now only don't dare to speak out. When the truth comes out, they will know how wrong they are now. After they registered with the jury, Lin Che waited outside. Not long later, someone from the jury came out and said, Miss Lin. Lin Che quickly stood up. He said, congratulations, you've been nominated for the Gold Medal Award's Best Female Lead. Lin Che looked at him and didn't dare to believe him. Really? I can be nominated? Oh my god, no way. I feel like I'm going to faint. The jury member laughed and said, the news will most likely only be out after a while, but it's already decided that you'll be included. Yu Minmin held Lin Che's hand and said, congratulations to you. Lin Che and Yu Minmin hugged, never expecting that there would be such a surprise in her unluckiest period now. This gave her a glimmer of hope. When the two of them went out, Yu Minmin said, we're not going to apologize now, but I will announce that you're backing out of this year's Artists Award. Okay. After that, everyone will definitely think that you admitted defeat and will run you down even more. Forget it. Let them hit me with whatever they got. Yes, when the news of the Gold Medal Award comes out, they'll then realize how wrong they all were. Lin Che looked at Yu Minmin and smiled. Also, regarding Qin Wanwan, I'll go investigate it. Relax and attend your classes. Don't think too much and distance yourself from Qin Wanwan. Lin Che nodded. I didn't think that Qin Wanwan would actually be so scary. Yu Minmin said, it seems like she's also a very cunning person. Yes, I didn't really like her from the beginning, but I never found her that annoying. I just thought that although she was very polite, she wasn't someone who I could get too close to. In the afternoon, Lin Che officially announced on Weibo that she was backing out from the Artists Award. This made many people happy. Netizens all said, is Lin Che silently admitting to it? Why else would she back out from the awards? I guess she's afraid of getting bashed. Even if she didn't back out herself, she was already kicked out far away by Qin Wanwan. Some official accounts on Weibo also said that there was insider information saying that Lin Che and Qin Wanwan's crew made an agreement. If Lin Che backed out from the awards, they would not pursue this drug matter. If she didn't back out, they would sue Lin Che. That was why Lin Che had no choice but to back out. This piece of news was obviously released by Qin Wanwan's crew. Lin Che silently thought that Sister Yu's prediction was right. There would have been no use apologizing. Sister Lin would never have let go of such a good opportunity and would have definitely leaked something out. Even if she apologized, backed out, and completely submitted to them, they would have still made everyone know that it was Lin Che who did it. They would have made Lin Che's name known. However, Lin Che only backed out from the awards. There was no other news and she didn't apologize. Everyone was still guessing whether Lin Che was preparing to apologize or planning to remain stubborn. All the way until the night, everyone was still waiting for the apology. Meanwhile, Qin Wanwan's side was still driving this issue. They released news saying that they sent Qin Wanwan's medicine for testing. They found a drug that was used to treat skin stiffness. Eating too much of it would have caused the skin to sag and be disfigured. Everyone instantly thought that it was so scary. They all posted on Qin Wanwan's Weibo, sympathizing with her for escaping such a scary plot. Lin Che attended the class again the next day. Regarding yesterday's day off from class, everyone already thought about the situation in their heads. They wondered if Lin Che wouldn't come because she didn't dare to see Qin Wanwan. Thus, seeing Lin Che appear in the classroom today, everyone kept staring at her. They were full of curiosity, scorn, and mockery. However, Lin Che pretended not to see them and simply returned to her seat. At the side, Zhao King still gave her yesterday's notes. She was still Lin Che and was still a famous star. They also didn't want to directly offend Lin Che. Who knew who would suddenly become popular again in this circle? Just then, Qin Wanwan entered and was very different from Lin Che. She had a spring in her steps and the cold she caught previously seemed to have already been cured. She saw Lin Che, quickly went to her and asked pretentiously, "Lin Che, what happened to you yesterday? Why did you suddenly not come? I was worried sick about you." Lin Che smiled, "Something cropped up so I couldn't come." Everyone heard this and couldn't help but snicker. Something cropped up, more like she was too embarrassed to show her face. Qin Wanwan looked at her pitifully. Then, a teacher arrived, a master of show business. Although she wasn't famous anymore, she had always been a revered teacher. Qin Wanwan saw and quickly said, "I'm going over to greet her. She used to be my senior." Chapter 422. Mu Feiren said, "I simply like Lin Che." The people beside quickly sucked up to her. "Wanwan, you know so many people." "Exactly. You have such a great affinity with people. You get along so well with everyone. Even the teachers are close to you. I'm so envious. Wanwan is a big star. Of course, she's different from us. She's also the popular choice for this year's award." "What popular choice? She'll definitely be the winner. Who could be more popular than Wanwan this year?" Everybody no longer noticed that Lin Che, who just backed out from the awards, was still there and were already talking about the awards. Qin Wanwan smiled at everyone and went straight to chat with the teacher. Some people whispered at the side, saying that it was so good to know the teachers. Everybody else could be tossed aside. Everyone looked at Qin Wanwan and was, of course, feeling jealous. At that moment, there was an announcement that somebody arrived. Someone exclaimed, "Ah, today's special guest is Mu Feiren." At the front, the teacher who was talking immediately stood up. "Mu Feiren is here. That's right. Mu Feiren will reveal the secret to long-term fame today." Everyone was immediately excited. Lin Che also stood up and saw Mu Feiren wearing sunglasses and get surrounded. When she entered, she looked at all the people around her. Mu Feiren took off her sunglasses and the person at the side quickly introduced her. "There's no need for an introduction. Everyone should know our queen, Miss Mu Feiren." Everyone of course quickly applauded and looked at Mu Feiren excitedly. Mu Feiren smiled graciously, "We are all artists here. There's no need to be so courteous. I'm only just a step luckier than everybody, which allowed me to stand here and share my experiences with all of you." Mu Feiren was really an all-rounded idol and was full of positive energy. Everybody was extremely fond of her. She caught a glimpse of Lin Che and immediately smiled, "Oh my, Lin Che. You're here for training too." After that, everyone was stunned. Lin Che stood there as Mu Feiren approached her. She put an arm around her and said intimately, "Training is actually beneficial. Yes, I didn't expect Sister Feiren to be here. I agreed to help a friend, so I came here." The both of them chatted intimately while Qin Wanwan standing beside the teacher could only watch awkwardly with a stiffened face. So what if she knew so many teachers? They couldn't match up to this one person. Those teachers also had joy on their faces. They put down their pride as seniors and were fawning over Mu Feiren. They also knew what it meant for Mu Feiren to be in the entertainment circle. Everyone all looked at Mu Feiren and Lin Che. Lin Che smiled and listened plainly while Mu Feiren talked jovially. Their relationship seemed to be really good. The classmates looked at each other as if passing the news around with their eyes. The arrival of Mu Feiren made Qin Wanwan become invisible. Yes, Mu Feiren was here and went straight to Lin Che. She didn't even acknowledge Qin Wanwan. It seemed like Qin Wanwan didn't have such a good relationship with these big shots. Lin Che really still had some capability. All her close relationships were with big shots. Yes, knowing one big shot was much more impressive than knowing 10 rubbish seniors. Everyone looked at each other and Qin Wanwan's glow from earlier instantly faded. Meanwhile, Lin Che became the point of focus and envy once again. Qin Wanwan watched, approached them from behind, and said to Mu Feiren, "Sister Feiren, you're here." She thought that she also knew Mu Feiren. It wasn't just Lin Che who knew all these big shots. However, Mu Feiren only looked at her. "Oh, yes." She then said directly to the teachers, "Shall we start class?" The teachers listened to her completely and quickly nodded, "Yes, yes, okay." Mu Feiren didn't look at Qin Wanwan again and simply walked to the front. Qin Wanwan's expression darkened. She could only look in front and return to her seat. Mu Feiren shared her own experience and especially looked down at the people in front of her. She said to them, "Actually, someone among you also has a similar experience to mine. That person is Lin Che." Everyone turned to look at Lin Che again. Mu Feiren said, "I also worked hard for less in my early years before I finally began playing lead roles for real. Thus, I always believe that you will definitely be rewarded if you work hard. Furthermore, in all those years, I acted in all kinds of roles and that was also the time I sculpted my acting skills. I believe that some actors now are just growing in a greenhouse and are only caring about popularity. They forget that an actor's biggest focus should be on their acting skills. I also hope that this training will be able to improve your acting skills. You lot are the future of the entertainment circle." People couldn't help but look at Lin Che and then look at Qin Wanwan. Qin Wanwan was obviously the one from the greenhouse. This speech was targeting her and the people couldn't help but want to speak up for Qin Wanwan. Qin Wanwan's acting skills were good too. Someone piped up from the back, "Sister Feiren, Qin Wanwan also has good acting skills. Are you directing your words at Qin Wanwan? Aren't you being too biased?" Mu Feiren looked at her. "Yes, I am biased. But I'm also human and I have people whom I like and dislike. I like Lin Che. Why, is something wrong with that?" Everyone was stunned. She directly declared that she liked Lin Che. However, nobody could object to her. She had the right to like whoever she wanted. Lin Che blushed, but everyone looked at her with even more jealousy. Mu Feiren openly said that she liked Lin Che. What did Lin Che do to make so many big shots like her? And Mu Feiren was an S-list big shot. Mu Feiren said, "And my relationship with Lin Che has always been very good. She is like a little sister to me. I like her because she is a very nice person and she also acts very well. Is there a problem with that?" Nobody said a word. They could only see Qin Wanwan stiffen her face but couldn't freak out. The atmosphere was extremely awkward. Class finally ended. Before Mu Feiren left, she specifically looked at Lin Che. "Press on. I saw that you were still being degraded these past few days, but it won't last long." Lin Che was very grateful that Mu Feiren was willing to stand on her side. "Thank you, Sister Feiren. No, I'm telling you the truth. My experience is very similar to yours. Keep acting and working hard. You won't be shortchanged." "Yes, I will." After Mu Feiren left, Zhao King and Wei Wei looked at Lin Che. "How come you're so close to Mu Feiren? Is Mu Feiren also like this in person?" They crowded around Lin Che and left. None of them noticed that Qin Wanwan was sitting there with her fists already clenched together. In the afternoon, everyone arrived at the rehearsal room for a rehearsal. The teacher was talking about the importance of their acting skills and even specially mentioned Qin Wanwan's acting skills. Chapter 423. Her acting was amazing. I've worked with Wanwan a few times. Her acting skills are considered the best out of all these actresses. Come, Wanwan, demonstrate a little for everyone. How will you act out this crying scene? Show everybody your ability. Qin Wanwan smiled and stood up. She went over. You're making me shy with your compliments, senior. I'm not an expert at crying scenes actually. Just don't laugh at me. Everyone watched as Qin Wanwan picked up the script. She looked at the script for a while and then started cultivating her expression. Within 2 minutes, her eyes became watery. Everyone thought that she was very impressive. She could immerse herself in such a short time. After that, Qin Wanwan went limp. Her hands trembled as she looked straight into the pretend camera and recited her lines. Her face was in agony as tears rolled down her cheeks. Everyone also started feeling sad as they watched her pitiful demeanor. The few people at the back couldn't help but marvel at her. Qin Wanwan's acting skills were indeed impressive. She became so immersed in such a short time and her expressions moved the audience. When she was done, everyone applauded enthusiastically. Qin Wanwan smiled as she stood up and her expression returned to normal. She smiled as she wiped her tears away and said to everybody, "Thanks for all your support. Wanwan, you're really amazing. Wanwan, you cried so convincingly. Your tears even flowed out so quickly. And your performance was so real. It was great." The teacher said from behind, "The crying scene is our most basic course. Of course, the basics can also be very challenging. Wanwan did a good job and can be considered the model among our actresses now. Of course, all of you have to continue working hard too." Just then, someone looked at Lin Che and thought about how Mu Feiren praised her so much just now. Seeing her stand behind so quietly, she said, "Hey, wasn't Lin Che praised by Senior Mu Feiren so much just now? Can Lin Che demonstrate for us too?" Everyone saw this and also started chiming in as they wanted to see her embarrass herself. The crying scene was only such a brief moment. Even if Lin Che performed as well as Qin Wanwan, it didn't prove anything. But if she didn't perform as well as Qin Wanwan, she would definitely be mocked. Qin Wanwan also looked behind her and said to Lin Che, "Lin Che, give it a go. It's just for fun and everyone says that your acting skills are very good. Don't be so secretive, let us learn from you." Lin Che looked at Qin Wanwan, "No thanks. Your acting was already very good. I shouldn't mess things up." The teacher saw that everyone was so enthusiastic and he hadn't worked with Lin Che before. But Lin Che's performance usually didn't have such strong results. They were all some idle dramas or ancient dramas with no great emotional fluctuations. He also couldn't tell how Lin Che's acting really was like from these shows. So upon seeing Lin Che now, he thought that she indeed knew some people who were better than these seniors who became a teacher. However, she wasn't better than Qin Wanwan at anything else. Seeing everyone say this, he also said to Lin Che, "That's right, Lin Che. Let us see your performance. We'll see if it's good or bad." Lin Che took a deep breath and looked at the teacher, "Okay then. I'll give it a go." Lin Che received the script and looked at the words on it. It said that the female lead found out that the male lead who was the emperor went missing in the rebellion war. This left her as a widow and her orphan children to face 1,000 soldiers and horses outside. A feeling of sorrow filled her. Lin Che looked quietly and then lifted her head, "I'm ready." "Then you can begin." Everyone was waiting to see what she was going to do. Lin Che looked ahead with a withered expression. Her eyes were hollow as if she had just lost everyone around her. She stepped forward, but her legs were weak and she fell on the ground. She propped herself up with the step. She wanted to get up but she couldn't. The veins on her hands were trembling as if she was trying her best, but she still couldn't get up. After a long while, time seemed to be frozen there, undisturbed by anyone else. She reached an arm out again, her lips quivering as she looked ahead. But her face didn't have any other expression. There only was that shaking shoulder that made people feel that this seemingly strong woman was still trying to be strong. She opened her mouth and called out the male lead's name, "Nianchu Nianchu." "Okay, for you, I'll watch over this land. I'll wait for you to come back." Her voice fell and teardrops were already rolling down her face. Everyone's jaws instantly dropped as they looked at Lin Che with stunned expressions. She clearly didn't have any expression just now, and her eyes weren't even red. However, they suddenly teared up the moment she stopped talking. They could imagine that she planned when her tears would fall, not too early or not too late. This moment was just right to show the female lead's strength, will, and her love for the male lead. She loved him so much that she would hold her tears for him at any time. Only at the last moment after she strengthened her own beliefs to protect the land for him did her tears really fall. Lin Che finished the scene. Everyone didn't seem to realize it until someone at the back yelled, "Good." After that, everyone then started clapping. To control one's tears according to one's own timing was extremely difficult, and they were naturally all aware of it. There were many times when the control of emotions would not be able to keep up with the rhythm. Thus, many actresses now could only rely on cut scenes to complete the whole scene when they couldn't control their emotions. However, Lin Che had complete control over her own emotions. Everyone looked at Lin Che in awe. The teacher also couldn't help but push up his glasses. He looked at Lin Che and said, "Lin Che, I didn't expect your acting to be so remarkable. However, this is only the basics in drama school. You still need to work hard." Everyone could hear that the teacher was simply talking a load of bull. It was totally different from when he praised Qin Wanwan endlessly. Now, Lin Che acted so well that she didn't lose out to those veterans. That was very rarely seen among actresses. However, he said it as if this was only natural. He was obviously biased. Qin Wanwan looked at Lin Che from behind. Her expression was ugly for a while before it finally returned to normal. Those TV dramas really didn't fully showcase Lin Che's acting skills. And it was actually clear that her acting skills in Gu Jingze's movie this time was really going to be on another level. After this, everyone looked at Lin Che with a lot more respect. However, everyone still believed that Lin Che drugged Qin Wanwan, and it indeed wasn't right. Thus, it was normal for her to be degraded. After all, Lin Che basically admitted it herself. Why else would she give in and suddenly back out from the awards? Chapter 424. Isn't she silently admitting by backing out from the awards? Lin Che was not concerned about it. As the teacher said, this kind of crying scene was only just the basics in drama school. However, the more basic the skill, the harder it was to act. After class, everyone watched Lin Che leave first and then said to Qin Wanwan, "Isn't she going against you on purpose? You casually acted once and she immediately gave her all to act too. What did she take it for, a competition?" "Exactly. She's too cunning. She's intentionally comparing herself with you. When she saw that you were attending the training, she also quickly threw herself in. Now, she has revealed her foxtail. She is here to compete with you." Qin Wanwan still smiled and said, "Not at all. She's very good at acting. You weren't at your best either, Wanwan. You were only casually acting for a demonstration." Qin Wanwan didn't say anything and silently admitted to it. Everyone said menacingly, "I'm waiting for Lin Che to make a personal apology. Wanwan, don't ever let her off just because she volunteered to drop out of the awards. Backing out from the awards is not enough. She must apologize. It doesn't matter if she apologizes or not. We are all friends." Qin Wanwan smiled and looked in the direction where Lin Che left. However, there was no laughter in her eyes. After it ended, Qin Wanwan immediately called her manager. "I want her to apologize right now. Use whatever method you can. I want a personal apology from her." Sister Lin said, "Forget it, Wanwan. Don't be angry. You're going to be up for the awards next. We've already prepared the gown and makeup for you. The news will be out soon." Qin Wanwan heard the manager say this and was comforted. As the manager said, news about her was out very quickly. In the images, Qin Wanwan was beautiful and graceful as she walked in the school compound. She said that she was going to join the awards and they said that she had a high chance of winning the grand award. She shyly said that they would only know when the time came. But the news commentary already followed the instructions of Qin Wanwan, saying that Qin Wanwan was ranked among the top few and the odds of her winning was almost certain. Qin Wanwan really dominated the news. In addition, the news didn't forget to mention afterward that Lin Che's ranking fell to the teens before she dropped out of the awards. She probably wasn't going to be able to compete for the awards if she didn't back out, so it was for the best. In one moment, Qin Wanwan's name was brought all the way up while Lin Che was conveniently trampled on. They even said that Lin Che's voluntary withdrawal was already proof that she admitted to the drugging matter, so the company wanted her to drop out as a punishment. The reporters went to interview Lin Che's financial company. The financial company was vague and didn't admit nor deny it. Netizens immediately said that that was silent admittance and it was indeed a punishment. When the news was hot, Lin Che did not make a sound. She didn't appear at all. Gu Jingze was now with Lin Che. He suddenly called Lin Che in the afternoon and said that he wanted to see her. Lin Che quickly came out of the school. Upon seeing Gu Jingze arrive, she happily ran over to him. There weren't any good places near the school, so they simply found a cafe. They cleared everyone out from the cafe in a short time, leaving only the Gu household's attendants and his bodyguards. Gu Jingze said, "I know you're still in school and I figured that the food wouldn't be good. I brought you some." Touched, Lin Che looked at Gu Jingze. "You're right. The food in our school is extremely bad. It's worse than in other schools. When I was a student here, it was just like this. It never changed." Seeing Lin Che eat until her mouth was stained with food, Gu Jingze laughed. Actually, he also felt that eating alone at home was no longer that enjoyable. He might as well have come to look for Lin Che. Watching her eat suddenly made him hungry too. He gestured for his attendants to prepare another portion and he ate with Lin Che. Was she the only woman on earth who could spike his appetite with her unglamorous eating habits? Gu Jingze said, "Eat more." Lin Che looked at Gu Jingze. "Don't worry. I won't starve myself. These few days have been worrying, but it didn't affect my eating. Think about it. If I starved myself, they would be even happier. There's no way I'm going to let them be that happy." Gu Jingze looked quietly at her. "If you can't stand it any longer, I can help you any time. There'll be no meaning in that. I want these attacks today to be smacked right in their faces. I'll let them think that they won in these next few days. Soon enough, I'll show them." Lin Che clenched her fist and said. "All right, I told you that you didn't have to worry about me." After both of them ate, the outsiders watched Gu Jingze leave. Gu Jingze looked at Lin Che and pulled her into his arms. He hadn't seen her for a few days, but she still seemed rather chubby. It looked like the matter really didn't affect her. He believed that he didn't have to worry that much. Lin Che leaned into him and felt him. He gazed at her forehead and caressed her face with one hand. When his fingers reached her lips, he quietly planted a kiss on her. Lin Che was surprised and almost wanted to push him away. Seriously, what if people saw them? There are people everywhere. Gu Jingze. He really loved doing that recently, teasing her in inappropriate situations. Gu Jingze looked around the empty space. What people? Indeed, the people around them were cleared by him using some unknown method. However, those bodyguards were people too. The bodyguards, there are so many. They are already used to it. How can that be? Then they can start getting used to it, Gu Jingze said as he bit her lip harder. As if longing for her, he kissed her and did not leave any part of her lips untouched. He only released her after some time. Catching his breath, his forehead pressed against hers and his deep eyes stared quietly into hers. Those eyes were always as deep and mysterious as the ocean. It also made Lin Che feel that as long as he was by her side, she could overcome any obstacle. Because no matter what, she still had his support. This very mature sense of security also made her surprised. However, she simply and gradually felt safe with him. Those eyes were also way too sexy. She looked at him and slowly, her breath became heavier. At this moment, the bodyguards shielded Lin Che and took her away. Gu Jingze then left the place quietly. The cafe reopened and nobody knew who was here. They only knew that it was a very capable person who made everyone leave because he wanted to eat here. At night in the dormitory, Qin Wanwan looked at Lin Che. She even smiled as she approached Lin Che and said, "I saw your acting today and I really thought that you were good. Did you learn it in a drama school?" Chapter 425. Whacked in the face on awards day. Lin Che fiddled with her phone and said, "Not really. I learn wherever I go." Qin Wanwan saw that Lin Che didn't really pay attention to her, so she went back to her bed. Looking at Lin Che, she thought resentfully, "You're still pretending to be so calm at this time. I'll see how far you can go with that." The next day, Qin Wanwan set out to attend the ceremony and specially asked for a day off. Her red dress looked extremely outstanding in front of the cameras. Qin Wanwan released news about Lin Che drugging her when it was so close to the awards period. It instantly made her name more known. Her clear victim image also gained her a lot of sympathy votes. Thus, this also invited a lot of attention. Reporters immediately swarmed around. They looked at Qin Wanwan and asked, "Do you feel confident about the award tonight?" Qin Wanwan said, "I never was, but I'll definitely be surprised if I do get it." "What do you think about Lin Che dropping out of the awards?" Qin Wanwan replied, "I think that it's a pity." "Why did she suddenly drop out? Did you guys really have an agreement?" Qin Wanwan said, "Well, I'm not sure actually. She didn't tell me beforehand even though we're staying in the same room now. But she isn't in a good mood now and she doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone, so I didn't disturb her either and ask these loaded questions. Anyway, I was also very shocked when I saw the news." This clearly meant that the backing out was indeed ridiculous and misleading. If there was no other reason to back out, wasn't it because of Qin Wanwan's matter then? Furthermore, Qin Wanwan also said that although they were sharing a room, Lin Che was already ignoring her now. This hinted that Lin Che was really not gracious, she was still angry even though she was in the wrong. The reporters asked again, "What about the drugging case? Was it true?" Qin Wanwan said, "Well, I don't know either. I've already passed this case on to the police and my company to handle. I have been busy studying recently and haven't had the time to bother about this." "Then, is the agreement true or not?" "My manager did look up her manager to talk about the case, but I'm not sure about any concrete agreement. It was not long after their talk that she basically dropped out of the selection for the awards," Qin Wanwan said. Everybody heard this and the lights flashed more furiously. They shoved their microphones toward her, thinking that the message in her words was all too clear. This was silent admittance. Lin Che backed out of the selection because that was an agreement. After that, Qin Wanwan's manager came to block the reporters off, telling them to back off and stop squeezing. "Since she dropped out, just leave it as that. It has nothing to do with us. Her ranking for the award already dropped, to begin with. Don't push it onto us, please. She couldn't necessarily attend the awards." This speech was so direct that the media was stunned. The media was naturally ecstatic as they realized that this was not a wasted trip today. They had things to write about when they headed back. But at this moment, heavy news was suddenly published by a media company. The list of nominees for the Gold Medal Award was announced today. Lin Che successfully entered the list of nominees with her upcoming movie. She qualified for Best Female Lead. The entire floor was stunned. Lin Che qualified for the Gold Medal Award. No way, Lin Che got in. How can that be? The news just came out. Why are you guys still here filming the awards? Did you forget that today was the Gold Medal Awards nominees list announcement? The reporters mumbled. Everyone said that Lin Che dropped out of the awards because of her ranking, but she went to take part in the Gold Medal Award. She probably wouldn't bother about some grand award. Exactly. If she wins the Gold Medal Award, she'll become the queen of movies. In comparison to the Gold Medal Award, the grand award is nothing. Who cares about it? Of course you'd want the Gold Medal Award. The grand award is just for fun while the yearly winners for the Gold Medal Award go down in history. They can't be the same. On stage, Qin Wanwan's expression was awkward. Her manager was also at a loss. Lin Che qualified for the Gold Medal Award. How come nobody told them about this? This Yu Minmin, she hid it way too well. Immediately, nobody bothered about Qin Wanwan and today's grand award again. They already began thinking of their write-up. Lin Che was silent in the past few days. In addition, the rumor that she backed out of the awards was because she was afraid of being embarrassed due to her drop in rankings. It was now known that she backed out because she wanted to participate in the selection for the Gold Medal Award. She was busy preparing for the selections and that was why she didn't participate in the grand award. This piece of news instantly blanketed the entire entertainment circle. Everyone saw Lin Che's sudden nomination and also tried to look for Lin Che. However, Lin Che remained unseen. She only posted on Weibo that she was continuing her studies in school. She thanked the gold medal award jury for believing in her and she was very surprised. Whether she was going to win the award or not, she was already very satisfied today. Meanwhile, Lin Che's official blog posted a message that made the situation turn around even more. The blog said, regarding the reports over the past few days that claimed that Lin Che poisoned Miss Qin Wanwan using illegal drugs, this blog dived deep into the matter. It was discovered that the said drug can only cause changes to the skin if more than 300 milliliters of it was consumed at one time. However, if the drug is not continually consumed, the skin will return to normal and there will be no permanent damage. This also means that the few millimeters found could never be strong enough to affect Miss Qin's skin and it would not disfigure her. This is because if the drug is consumed in too little a quantity, diarrhea will occur very quickly. It can never induce symptoms such as vomiting, convulsions, and more. Neither can it induce any other responses. Thus, we have reason to believe that Miss Qin's vomiting and convulsions that day could have been due to other medicines and not this type. Moving forward, we hope that Miss Qin's manager can investigate this matter properly and look into all the people close to Miss Qin. Otherwise, someone else might drug Miss Qin, causing her to vomit and convulse even though she only had a minor cold that day. In any case, Lin Che has absolutely no reason to use that tiny amount of drug to tarnish her own reputation. As for why her reputation could suddenly be tarnished, we will continue to investigate. Regarding the shady media reports that caused our company's Lin Che to be misunderstood and insulted, we will be filing a lawsuit against all those responsible and will seek justice for Lin Che. The internet went crazy again. Some said, this is a huge smack in Qin Wanwan's face this time. Framed, more like self-orchestrated. It was even said that Lin Che dropped out of the awards. It was clearly because she didn't care about the awards. Let Qin Wanwan go for the awards. I think this award is also really useless. I'm not going to watch it anyway. Chapter 426. It was difficult to adjust to the plot twist. I'm not watching either. It's not some influential award anyway. It's just for fun and there is really no meaning in it. The literary awards expressed that they felt very wronged. Because of Qin Wanwan's matter, it caused everyone to look down on the awards. However, it indeed wasn't a big deal compared to the gold medal award. On the day of the literary awards, many people still turned up. But seeing Qin Wanwan sit there, everyone couldn't help but feel embarrassed for her. Initially, they wanted to participate in the literary awards to get some coverage. Now, they felt rather regretful and embarrassed to attend the event. They suddenly felt as if the grand award was very low. On that night, Qin Wanwan didn't come in first place for the grand award. Another veteran actress recently got married and gave birth, garnering a lot of support in an instant and pushing her up to the first place. The next day, Lin Che's news was everywhere while Qin Wanwan's participation in the grand award only took up a small section of the papers as if it was just a casual mention. In the office, Sister Lin said, I didn't expect things to turn out this way either. Wanwan, don't panic, we didn't anticipate it this time, so we were overshadowed by her. It definitely won't happen again next time. How could we have known that she would quietly run off to the gold medal award selections and actually qualify? That's enough. Get out. Qin Wanwan gritted her teeth as she looked at the report in front of her, her face turning green and purple. Meanwhile, at Lin Che's side. When she reached the school, everyone looked at the freshly vindicated Lin Che. They felt guilty for treating her so wrongfully the past few days. Thus, when they saw her now, they greeted her, cheered her on and congratulated her from afar. Lin Che was refreshed and she felt as if the weather was suddenly a lot better today. Upon entering the classroom, the teachers saw Lin Che and didn't dare to give her dirty looks again. They said to her passionately, Lin Che, you're here. I saw the news of you being nominated for Best Female Lead. Not bad, not bad. You're young and promising. Keep up the good work. Lin Che still hadn't forgotten how they previously looked down on her and were practicing favorites with Qin Wanwan. She smiled coldly to them and said, thanks. She then went straight to her seat. The students quickly surrounded Lin Che and said, when you become the Queen of Movies this time, I'll be a classmate of the Queen of Movies. Yes, Who would have thought that I would know the queen of movies? This is really unbelievable. Press on, Lin Che. We'll be rooting for you in the future. Everyone really thought that Lin Che was very capable. They really admired her and envied her. She was so young, but she was just like a big shot celebrity who took up the entire cover page. She was almost becoming a household name. Lin Che was also very surprised. She didn't expect that the infamy and turn of events would lead her to gain a lot more fans in an instant. Her reputation had also grown once again because she made it into the city news. Many readers who previously didn't read the entertainment news or watched TV dramas all knew who Lin Che was now. Should she be thanking Qin Wanwan for this? It was too bad that Qin Wanwan didn't come to class at all, as it was said that she left for medical treatment. In the end, the teachers said that the training would finish in 2 weeks. By then, they required everyone to perform in a talent show as part of the final exam. Lin Che was distressed again. She really didn't have any talent that she could show. She watched her classmates talk excitedly about what they were going to do and she began to worry. At night, Qin Wanwan finally came to school. Although it was only just one day, she looked as if she lost weight. Everyone was eating pumpkin seeds while watching TV in the dormitory when they saw Qin Wanwan enter. They were stunned. Qin Wanwan came in and asked, "What are you guys chatting about?" Zhao King replied awkwardly, "Oh, we're watching TV." Qin Wanwan came in and walked towards Lin Che. A few of them became nervous. They were worried that she would cause trouble with Lin Che. They misunderstood Lin Che over the past few days and thought she was very bad. However, after the misunderstanding was cleared, they looked back on hindsight and thought that she was actually very nice. She was humble and especially easy to get close to. Although she was already a very famous star, she still ate pumpkin seeds and chatted with them. She was friendly and didn't despise them at all. Thus, they wanted to protect Lin Che instead. However, it appeared that Qin Wanwan didn't want to make things difficult for Lin Che. She only sat beside Lin Che and said to her, "Oh right, congratulations on your nomination for Gold Medal Award. It's really something. You qualified in your first movie." "Thank you. I was also very surprised," Lin Che said emotionlessly. Qin Wanwan then said, "Oh right. I saw the report about the issue this time. It turned out that Sister Lin misunderstood you. I'll apologize to you on Sister Lin's behalf. You won't be angry with me, right?" Since she said that, what else could Lin Che say? She could only look at her and say, "It's fine. I'm not angry." That's good then. Everyone saw that nothing happened with Qin Wanwan, so they then heaved a sigh of relief. "Okay, let's continue playing." Just then, someone's phone rang. Zhao King said, "Hey, why don't we play a game? When someone's phone rings, she must let the person beside her answer it." "Hee, how about it?" Everyone heard this and thought that this game was very interesting. They immediately agreed. At this moment, Qin Wanwan's phone rang. Actually, Lin Che and Qin Wanwan definitely received a lot of phone calls since they were more popular and there were more people looking for them. When they heard Qin Wanwan's phone ring, everyone immediately cheered and someone behind picked it up. Unfortunately, this call was merely from her home's nanny, asking about the layout at home. Everyone thought that it was boring. Lin Che's phone suddenly rang. Zhao King, who was sitting behind Lin Che, immediately said, "Oh my, this is great. I'm going to pick this up." "Hey, dearest hubby." "No way, Lin Che, is this your boyfriend? It's so cringy." Lin Che blushed as she forgot that she had saved Gu Jingze's contact under those words. Thankfully, nobody wondered if she was married or not, since boyfriends and girlfriends often called each other wifey and hubby nowadays. Lin Che immediately said, "Ah, I'm not playing anymore." Zhao King was not willing to let her go. She immediately answered the phone. She even put it on speaker. "Hello," a low voice sounded from the other side. That low cello-like voice was so magnetic and intoxicating. This voice was really pleasant. Zhao King said, "Ah, is this Lin Che's hubby? We're her classmates." The person on the other end was silent. Lin Che thought that she was done for. Hang up, hang up. This is annoying." Zhao King held her phone and quickly stood up. "Lin Che is now in our hands. If you want her back, bring some snacks over." Otherwise, Lin Che will be ours. After a long while, the voice then said lightly, okay, I'll bring you guys some snacks. Ah, really? Of course. Oh my god. At this moment, Lin Che quickly snatched the phone over. Chapter 427, Suave when sending treats. Zhao King already ran back happily, that was so cool. Lin Che's boyfriend's voice sounds so nice. Okay, we all heard it. You don't have to keep harping on it. Lin Che, his voice is so pleasant. He could probably impregnate us just with his voice. Lin Che looked speechlessly at them. They thought that Gu Jingze would take the conversation as a joke. Little did they expect to suddenly hear some noises outside after some time. When Zhao King opened the door, there were already people carrying huge boxes of snacks and treats walking in. Miss Lin Che, these are some treats delivered from the Peninsula Hotel. Please accept it. Wei Wei exclaimed, wow, treats from the Peninsula Hotel. No way, since when did they do delivery? Another student also said, these must be expensive. I've been there once to try their food. One small strawberry pie alone costs 5,000 yuan. Wow, they delivered so much here this time. It must have been expensive. Why don't you take a look at what kind of abilities one has to have to make the Peninsula Hotel deliver here? Everyone opened the exquisite box and looked at the treats inside. They were amazed and looked at Lin Che with even more envy. It turned out that Lin Che had such a wealthy boyfriend. Of course, they wouldn't be silly enough to tell others outside. It was a rule in this circle. Some things could never be leaked to outsiders. But still, this didn't stop them from envying her. On the other hand, Qin Wanwan looked at everyone sucking up to Lin Che and praising her. They were filled with curiosity about Lin Che's boyfriend but didn't dare to ask. It was as if Lin Che was already the focus of everyone's attention. Qin Wanwan didn't like the feeling of being defeated, but she could only watch from the side. It was her fault that she didn't have a boyfriend who could send treats from Peninsula Hotel anytime. Qin Wanwan was also curious about this. Seeing Lin Che come over, she asked, who was that just now? Gu Jingze. Lin Che replied, it's not any special person. Qin Wanwan said, I won't tell even if I know about it. Gu Jingze indeed has the capability to make Peninsula Hotel deliver food, but that voice didn't sound like Gu Jingze's. Or perhaps he sounds different on the phone. Lin Che only smiled and ate the treats. She couldn't be bothered to say anything more. Seeing that Lin Che wasn't ready to talk about it, Qin Wanwan could only look at the food Lin Che's boyfriend sent. She didn't want to eat any of it and she didn't know if that person was Gu Jingze or not. However, regardless of who it was, it already made Qin Wanwan very angry that Lin Che had such a wealthy boyfriend that made people jealous. On the other hand, Lin Che quickly ran out and spoke to the delivery men, thank you, guys. Oh right, here's a tip for you. Lin Che thought that they should receive some tips for coming all the way here from such a high-end place. However, when she took out the money, two of them quickly said, no need, Mrs. Gu. It's our honor to be able to deliver to you. Another person also quickly replied, yes. If Mr. Gu finds out that we accepted your money, we probably won't be able to stay in C Nation anymore. Exactly. Please keep your money. We'll be leaving. They quickly bowed to Lin Che and slipped away. Lin Che had no choice but to keep the money. She thought it was strange that they seemed so afraid. After that, Lin Che took out her phone and quickly called Gu Jingze. Gu Jingze asked, did you receive the treats? Yes, I did. I wanted to give them a tip but they didn't accept it. I heard that these treats are very high-end. They made an exception for me, so I felt bad about it. Gu Jingze said, it's no big deal. He thought, they were right to reject it. If they dared to demand a tip from a Gu family member, they'd be asking for death. Lin Che said, how can that be? They never do deliveries. Oh yes, thank you for making the special delivery for us. Is this how you're going to thank me? Gu Jingze asked. Lin Che froze, huh? Gu Jingze said in his low voice, come down. Now. What? Lin Che was stunned. She quickly went to the window and looked down. A lone car was already parked below and that man, like a refreshing breeze, leaned against the car as he stood there and looked up. Lin Che was elated. She didn't expect him to come. She quickly ran down and dashed toward Gu Jingze. What brings you here? She smiled as she looked at him. Gu Jingze's lips curled up. He smiled and immediately pulled Lin Che into the car. Hey, what are you doing there, people? Where? Gu Jingze was already on top of her, steadily looking into her eyes in the dark. Lin Che lifted her head to see. The chauffeur was not there. He was already prepared. Thinking about this and looking back at Gu Jingze who seemed to be floating on top of her, Lin Che's face turned red. Why what are you trying to do now? Don't you know what I want to do? How could I know? Never mind. You'll know soon enough, Gu Jingze said as he grabbed her hands and gently raised them up. With their fingers intertwined, he bit her earlobe, sending shivers down her body. I want to eat you, he said quietly. Then, he bit her neck, leaving marks on her skin. Lin Che already couldn't hold it in. Actually, she also missed him. She missed his touch, his smell, his sexy body, and his flawless skin. She missed the joy his kisses brought to her, each one ever so intoxicating. In any case, his body was full of unforgettable merits that it was really inevitably intoxicating. In her heart, she was telling herself that they couldn't. What if someone came along? However, she already lost control of her body and fell deep into the abyss with him. The next day, Lin Che saw the other nominees for Best Female Lead. 2 were movie big shots and 1 was a newcomer but had already acted in 2 roles. Lin Che was one of the most inexperienced ones. Lin Che immediately felt a mountainous pressure on her. She complained to Yu Minmin over the phone, my nomination was very powerful and instantly left everyone speechless, but I think I really can't win this award. You won't be angry if I don't win, right? You're already Madam President now, so you shouldn't care if I win or not, right? Go to hell, just do your best. Also, I might just beat you up if you mention, Madam President, one more time. Yu Minmin still wasn't accustomed to being addressed as Madam President. However, the agenda of the presidential wedding was already brought up. The day drew closer and closer. After she handled Lin Che's case this time, the president's wedding ceremony was also finally here. On this day, Gu Jingze also called Lin Che early, saying that they would attend the wedding together. Chapter 428. The president's wedding was eye-catching. Lin Che took a day off from the teacher. Everyone looked at Lin Che and asked where she was going. Only Qin Wanwan knew a little. Although she was only guessing and hadn't got any evidence, she still secretly asked Lin Che, "Are you going to the president's wedding ceremony?" Lin Che looked at Qin Wanwan. How strange. She had been cold towards Qin Wanwan all this time. How could Qin Wanwan still act as if nothing happened at all? Lin Che replied, "You are thinking too much." Qin Wanwan said, "Isn't Gu Jingze going to the wedding? It's normal if he brings you along anyway. It's really not bad if you get to know some Gu family members and go to such a high-end place." Lin Che said, "Haha." She waved her hand dismissively and left. Qin Wanwan gritted her teeth and thought, it looks like she is really going to the president's wedding. This kind of event was something people like Qin Wanwan could never imagine. Meanwhile, Lin Che was picked up by Gu Jingze and she went to change into an appropriate gown. You'll be meeting some scrubby politicians today. Just follow behind me when the time comes, Gu Jingze instructed her. Lin Che could only say speechlessly, those are important people. Don't talk about them in such a scornful tone. When they reached their destination, they saw the extremely sturdy men who were usually seen on TV. They went up to Gu Jingze and chatted with him, "Mr. Gu, you honor us with your presence. We have been waiting for a long time." Lin Che felt as if this was all an illusion. Thinking about how she was with someone who could easily influence the politicians of C Nation, she was still in disbelief. However, she turned to look at the man beside her. Everything was incomparably true. However, at the next moment, he tugged her along and they entered the center of the glazed tile palace. The wedding was divided into several segments. First was the ritual for worshipping the ancestors. Next was the photo-taking session at the entrance of glazed tile palace. Then, they were going to greet the guests from the top balcony. Yu Minmin looked at the itinerary and was already feeling overwhelmed. The clothes on her body were so heavy and the train was so long that it was hard to accept. When Lin Che wanted to enter, the people outside wanted to stop her. A person behind quickly said, "This is Mrs. Gu." The glazed tile palace guards froze. They quickly greeted her and opened the door, apologizing to Lin Che. Lin Che quickly dismissed them and went inside. Yu Minmin finally saw a familiar face. She asked, "Are there a lot of people outside?" Lin Che smiled and said, "There aren't that many, but trust me, all the citizens will be watching on TV." Alright, Yu Minmin looked at the guards and said, "It looks like they are all rather scared of Gu Jingze." Lin Che asked in puzzlement, "Why? What would they be scared of Gu Jingze for?" "I heard the staff in Glazed Tile Palace say that they're very scared of Gu Jingze because he's very aloof. Anyway, did you see what happened when they heard that it was you? None of them dared to stop you. They even quickly greeted you and let you in. I'm telling you that you're the first person in so many days who made them have some facial expressions." "Oh please, I see that you're not nervous now." "Of course not." After a while, Yu Minmin's mother and brother arrived. A guard came to inform her that both of them were already brought in. Yu Minmin quickly went out to receive her family. Her mother and brother changed into proper attire and their clothes matched them very well. They must have been prepared beforehand. Her mother looked around as she walked, seemingly still in disbelief. "There are so many people, Minmin. Are they all here for the wedding?" "That's enough, Mom. Just listen to the arrangement later on and don't bother about these people. They all came from various places to attend the wedding." Her brother also said, "Wow, sis, you're really beautiful. This place is so huge too. Is this the Glazed Tile Palace? Oh my god, I'm actually standing inside the Glazed Tile Palace. Seriously, I told my classmates and none of them believed me. Will I appear on TV later? Once I'm on TV, I'm going to say hi to my classmates and tell them that this is all real. I'm in the Glazed Tile Palace." Yu Minmin speechlessly said, "Alright, don't make a fool of yourself later. I won't be coming to your rescue if the guards take you away." Her mother's face was still stunned. She had never seen such a scene. Although she was very excited about it, she also began to feel nervous. "Minmin, when I went out, all those people were so envious of me. They said that your wedding today is considered the wedding of the century. The entire country and the entire world is watching. Your wedding is so huge." Yu Minmin said, "It should be just a report for the country. It won't cover too much. The international news will probably only make a brief report, but it won't be too extensive either. The whole country is really going to watch your wedding then. Oh my, seriously, Minmin, you are really the pride of our family now. You have no idea what the neighbors are saying. They used to look down on us because your dad is a gambler. Now, every one of them said that I raised a good daughter. Sigh, Minmin, this is fantastic." Her brother also said, "I'll get to see Mr. President later. Can I take a photo with him? And he'll be my brother-in-law. Can I call him brother-in-law?" Yu Minmin was completely at a loss for words. They seemed to be more excited than herself. Just then, her brother realized that Lin Che was there. "Wow, Lin Che. Hello, I'm Yu Chengcheng and I'm your fan. I think that you're way too gorgeous. I even joined your fan club." Lin Che chuckled as she looked at him. "You must be Minmin's little brother. You look quite like her." Her brother blushed as he looked at her and asked, "Can I take a picture with you?" Of course, you can." Lin Che took a picture with him. Her brother said, "My sister is really she's a manager herself. I asked her to take me along to see some stars but she refused. Can I show this photo to other people? I want to show it to my classmates. They'll definitely be shocked." Of course you can. He was ecstatic. He looked at Lin Che and said shyly, "You look better in real life." "Really?" Yu Minmin saw that it was about time. She said to the two of them, "Alright, why don't you guys go take a rest first? We still need to do some stuff." The ceremony was going to start soon and Lin Che kept Yu Minmin company here. When it began, the parade lined up outside and fired their guns. Then, Yu Minmin finally appeared in front of the cameras. Yu Minmin smiled. Her long gown looked extremely gracious and beautiful diamonds dotted her slender neck. Her exposed collarbone looked sexy but at the same time did not lack elegance. Yu Minmin looked up at Gu Jingming on the other end. His neat presidential suit was extremely chic and bold. That handsome face was also beautifully decorated. That pair of dark eyes were like the starry night sky that glistened in the dark. His chiseled face was also especially outstanding. Looking at the camera, he revealed a subtle smile that already made people fawn over him. He looked good, but he was just too aloof. Chapter 429, They Got Married. Yu Minmin tried to walk in those 15-centimeter high heels underneath with all her might. It was extremely hard. She reached out to him and held onto his hand. The ceremony was tedious and too nerve-wracking that she couldn't care about anything else. In the eyes of an outsider, this wedding was really eye-catching. There was a huge turnout. On TV, the reporters were filled with passion. It had been a long time since an event in C Nation gained the attention of the entire country, especially one that was a happy occasion. What we're seeing now is that Mr. President has already brought his bride to make an appearance at the balcony. They are greeting the audience here. All guests are already present. The president is currently waving to the crowd with his wife. The spectators outside glazed tile palace have already amassed by the thousands. The surrounding guards are currently redirecting the traffic and keeping things in order. The bride is very pretty. She is really gracious and modest. Needless to say, this ordinary but eye-catching wedding is making everyone envious. In front of the TV. Suya, don't watch anymore. Fang Zongmu looked at her. There's nothing nice to see. It's just a wedding. Yin Suya gazed at the woman standing beside Gu Jingming who was looking at the crowd. All these should have been hers before. However, she turned him down and pushed it all to someone else. Now, she was starting to feel sad and had a tinge of regret. She couldn't be herself and there were many restrictions as Madam President, but seeing the bride being watched and envied by so many people now, Yin Suya felt as if she lost something very important. It's alright, this was what I wanted. She was merely a substitute. The Madam President on TV getting all the attention was merely a substitute. Fang Zongmu watched the TV. Who would have thought that this woman would actually look good on TV? She indeed looked like a Madam President. At the prison, Yu Minmin's father watched the event on TV. That's my daughter. That's my daughter. My daughter is now Madam President. Sigh, I just knew she would be useful one day. Everyone heard his proclamations and turned to look at him. However, they quickly turned back, completely ignoring him and taking him as a lunatic. The president's wedding is big. Yes, look, there are so many spectators. There were even guns firing. All those at the side are the president's guards and behind are the bodyguards. It's really a huge event. Father Yu watched and grunted, that is really my daughter. Never mind if you don't believe me. That is my daughter, Yu Minmin. Everybody did not believe that Madam President's father would be locked up in jail. After the banquet, Yu Minmin was tired to death. Greeting hundreds of people outside was really a taxing affair. After the ceremony, every important guest came to greet Yu Minmin and congratulated the newlywed couple. Yu Minmin could only reply to them one by one. She knew that these were all important figures, but she simply couldn't keep her spirit up and at the end she couldn't remember a single person. Finally, she returned to the bridal chamber to rest. As she sat there, she was already drifting off. By the time Gu Jingming entered, she was already asleep. Lying there curled up, her white gown cascaded below. Gu Jingming frowned. This was the first time he saw her curled up like a small child. Exhaustion was written all over her tired face. He wanted to kick her awake, but looking at those tired eyes, he still carried her up in his arms and placed her on the bed. Outside, Gu Jingze looked at the exhausted Lin Che. She didn't want to move at all and she sprawled there and said to Gu Jingze, so, weddings are this tiring. Gu Jingze said, Big Brother's wedding is already considered scaled down by a lot. He needs to be more frugal because he's the president. No way, Lin Che pouted. Thank goodness we didn't have a wedding. Gu Jingze's face darkened, what did you say? Ah. Gu Jingze said, is it so bad to have a wedding with me? Gu Jingze pinched her petite face. Lin Che quickly replied, that's not what I meant. It's not what I meant. Gu Jingze said, then why do you seem so unwilling? I just think that holding a wedding is so tiring. So you're still unwilling? I'm willing. Why wouldn't I be? Really, I'm especially willing to marry you. I'm willing no matter how tiring it is, Lin Che said speechlessly. Gu Jingze looked at her deeply, seeing her smile appeasingly. He then gradually released her cheek. Only this woman would actually be unwilling to hold a wedding with him. This would be such a joke if anyone heard it. Any woman would have rushed to grab even one of his fingers, and yet this woman was actually despising him. She was indeed a heartless woman. Lin Che saw that Gu Jingze's face was still stiff. She quickly went up to him and asked, "What's wrong? Are you angry?" Gu Jingze's eyes looked straight ahead. His lower jawline was so stretched that his cheeks looked angular and distinct under the refraction of the light. It was so beautiful. Her husband looked that handsome even when he was angry. Lin Che chuckled. They sat in a private space above, but they weren't afraid that they would be seen. She hugged his arm and swung side to side. She said, "I haven't been to Glazed Tile Palace before. How about showing me around?" Gu Jingze grunted and did not move. "I won't get another chance to come here again. It's so rare to be here. How would I have the cheek to tell people that I only went to the hall and don't know what the inside looked like? How can I show off like that?" Gu Jingze listened to her pleading voice and finally softened a little. Looking at her, he really felt helpless. Thus, he got up, took the shawl, and draped it over her shoulders. Lin Che was so happy that she hopped from side to side as she walked with him. The Glazed Tile Palace was very big, but other people were also living in the same building so that the place looked big from the outside. In actual fact, it was not as big as the old Gu family's house. Guards were walking about while Gu Jingze walked inside unimpeded. Nobody stopped him. Lin Che looked all around the place. It looked like a museum and not like a home at all. Big Brother stays here every day. The front is for work. The study room and living room are for meeting important figures. Behind is the living quarters, so it will be decorated with more life. Oh, so will Minmin be staying at the back in the future? Yes. That's not so bad. If she stays at the front, I don't think she'll dare to move around anymore. All these furnishings look extremely expensive. Just as she was talking, a voice suddenly called out from behind. "Lin Che, why are you here? I've been looking for you." She turned back to see that it was Shen Yoren. Chapter 430. Lin Che actually attended the wedding. Lin Che said, "Oh my, why are you here? Chen Yucheng brought me in. I wanted to look for you the moment I got here, but they said that you guys are family and were inside, so we realized that we probably wouldn't be able to see you. It wasn't easy, but Chen Yucheng finally spoke to President Gu's bodyguards and they brought us in here." Shen Yoren ran in excitedly, tugging at Lin Che's hand and saying, "Where is Minmin?" "She's in the bridal chamber." "PFF'd. Ha ha ha," Shen Yoren said quietly, "are they really going to do it? Oh my, the husband's figure looks good, but I wonder how his technique is." The two petite women chatted noisily. Lin Che asked, "So where is Dr. Chen?" Shen Yoren then called out behind her, "Chen Yucheng, how come you're so slow?" "I'm coming. What's the hurry?" He sauntered toward them. He looked at Gu Jingze and Lin Che and said, "President Gu, Mrs. Gu." Gu Jingze nodded. Shen Yoren said, "Wow, this place is really huge, but there are a lot of people walking around. It's scary." The two of them walked along happily, completely forgetting about the two men behind. Chen Yucheng looked at Gu Jingze and started talking about proper matters in a low voice. "Right, have you been investigating the people close to Miss Mo Hilling?" "That's right. It seems like she is still with Li Mingyu. I saw them together last time." Gu Jingze was in deep thought, nodding in acknowledgement. Inside, Shen Yoren said, "I didn't think that I would be able to attend this wedding. I heard that those who could come are very capable." "Indeed. How come Dr. Chen brought you along?" Lin Che felt that something was amiss the more she thought about it. "Aren't you getting a little too close to him?" Shen Yoren asked speechlessly, "What nonsense are you talking about? Just look at you. You're so shy that you're blushing. Quick, tell me the truth. What stage have you guys progressed to?" Shen Yoren's face was red and she could only mumble, "Fine. Actually, he did express that we could explore a relationship, but I haven't agreed." Why? Lin Che asked. He's very nice. Why don't you agree? Shen Yoren said, think about it. A man while eating suddenly says, your personality and mine matches very well psychologically. You admire me while I gain a sense of satisfaction from you. So if you're with me, we'll be able to fulfill the psychological needs of a lover. Do you think I can agree with something like that? This was a lot like Chen Yucheng. Lin Che said, he probably just doesn't know how to express himself. A philomath like him has issues in his brain. You must give in a little. Agree to him. He's not a bad guy. He's rather good. Shen Yoren replied, it's not that either. I just feel that we are too different. My family conditions and his family conditions are worlds apart. We're not necessarily compatible. How is it different? They are a family of world-renowned doctors while my family is just an ordinary family. And it's not like you don't know my mom and dad. Then, Gu Jingze and I are also worlds apart. At least you're a rich man's daughter. Illegitimate daughter, Lin Che looked at Shen Yoren. Furthermore, when two people are together, the family background isn't really that important. As long as you're happy with him and he's good to you, that's all that matters. I believe that Dr. Chen is very nice to others. Shen Yoren nodded, all right then. Anyway, I'll think about it seriously. Yes, good luck. Lin Che and Gu Jingze ended the day together and headed back home. On the internet, this wedding ignited a huge commotion. Apparently, whoever could attend the wedding were all very important figures. This was not about how rich a person was. There was a very detailed examination of the invitation card, eyes, and fingerprints before they could enter the venue. Lin Che did not go through such a check probably because she went with Gu Jingze. The wedding was live-streamed on Weibo and a tabulation was made on some of the guests. Of course, all those on the list were important figures. Practically no celebrities attended it apart from Gu Jingyu of course. After all, Gu Jingming was his brother. Meanwhile, Mu Feiran also attended the wedding. She apparently went with her boyfriend who knew someone there. The audience also discovered that Lin Che was actually at the wedding too. She was captured standing amongst the crowd. In the picture, she was very pretty and she stood all the way at the front. Lin Che was also very surprised that someone would specially capture that. However, it seemed like she, fortunately, wasn't caught standing beside Gu Jingze. It was probably because Gu Jingze wasn't beside her at that time or the reporter was worried that a picture with Gu Jingze wouldn't be published, so they intentionally took a photo when Gu Jingze wasn't around. In everyone's eyes, Lin Che instantly became more high and mighty. She could even attend the president's wedding. Some people immediately said that Madam President was the manager who built her up, so she probably attended because of this reason. However, Lin Che still fell into the center of attention. Lin Che still needed to stay at the dormitory. Gu Jingze kissed her by the door. There was still another week of training before it would end. But he already wanted to pull her back home right now. He looked at her and kissed her again. In case he was really going to act impulsively and bring her home, he still patted her head, go on. Okay, I'm going. When Lin Che entered the dormitory, everyone immediately surrounded her. Lin Che, I saw the news. You attended the president's wedding. No wonder you took a day off today. Oh my god, you actually attended the wedding. Did your boyfriend take you? Or was it your manager? Madam President must have invited you, right? Regardless of who it was, you were really too grand today. See, everybody is speculating what kind of position you hold in the entertainment circle that allowed you to attend the president's wedding. I probably won't ever come close to such high-class people in my life. At the back, Qin Wanwan watched for a long time before approaching. She said to Lin Che, you're back. You must be tired from the wedding. Yu Minmin was merely your manager and now she's Madam President. What a twist of fate. Qin Wanwan was being too obvious in trying to sabotage their relationship. However, she was unaware of Lin Che and Gu Jingze's relationship. She assumed that Lin Che was just fooling around with Gu Jingyu. She had no idea that Lin Che had already mysteriously become Gu Jingze's wife and she was Mrs. Gu. Lin Che also couldn't be bothered to explain things to her. She only plainly said, yes, she deserves it. She has always been working very hard. Lin Che returned to her own bed. But when she laid down, she felt something was not right. There was something poking her body and it was extremely painful. She immediately jumped up. Everyone froze. What's wrong? Lin Che pulled off the covers and saw a thumbtack placed on her bed. Everyone was shocked. Who could be so evil to put a thumbtack?